Do you think illegal gun sales are up? Do you think the mob still deals with illegal guns? Do you think there's that?
Not really. Certain people do, but my area, nobody's really moving guns. I had a bunch of guns, but I would keep them for ourselves, you know?
Yeah, so what I'm saying, back in the day, you didn't really push weapons. You didn't sell guns.
Once in a while. Yeah, once in a while.
But you really had to trust the person you were selling it to, right?
Nah, like I said, I always dealt with a lot of people that I knew, you know?
How hard do you think it is to get illegal guns still?
No, it's not hard. When I was in that lifestyle, I would get whatever I wanted. Whenever I had machine guns, silencers, everything, I'd get my hands on anything. Yeah.
It wasn't hard?
Nah.
What do you think? I had seen the interview with Valuetainment. Johnny Alite has a different perspective on it. He seems to be a little more towards controlling, you know, guns a little bit more. What do you think about the Second Amendment, man? How do you view that, in your opinion? Should Americans have the right to carry weapons? And I mean, what's your take on the Second Amendment?
I mean, I believe you should have a right to bear arms, but the whole thing is like, it's putting people in a bad situation, because the state of New York, let's just say you do carry a gun and shoot somebody, they have very strict laws. You know, I had a friend of mine that he was being robbed outside of a restaurant with him and his wife, and he stabbed the guy 3 times. The guy was trying to rob him, and the prosecutors still gave him time because they said he stabbed him more than 1 time, and they said that he wasn't in danger no more. So these laws are very strict with weapons and guns and knives, so you have to be careful even if you're going to use that gun or knife, because the prosecutors and them have their rules that they go by. So self-defense and all that stuff, it's very hard to get. You know what I mean? So people think they're just going to run around shooting people because it's allowed to carry guns. That's not the case. You know what I mean? So I feel like guns are just going to be more problems. You know what I mean? So I feel like if you have a right to bear arms, people are going to think in their head, oh, I'm allowed to use this now. Only if your life is in danger. You know, so a lot of people, I feel, will get in more trouble if they're allowed to have them.
You know, unfortunately, that's the case in New York and New Jersey and California. But in other states, right, you know, someone comes into your house, you can literally blast them away, bro.
Well, it's called stand your ground law. Florida has it. You could shoot the guy 100 times in his face if he comes in your house in Florida, right? But New York, you cannot. If the guy's running out your house and you shoot him in the back, you're going to jail.
Yeah, I mean, if you shoot him in the back, there's no point. But I mean, if someone's coming into your house, I don't get it, man. I mean, I feel like they penalize people too much with some of that shit, you know?
Right. I think New York is just so bad with guns. That's the problem, you know, and that's why they really don't want them there, because then guys that could buy firearms will scrape the numbers off, report them stolen, and start selling them all over the streets. You know what I mean? So you see now, guys go down to Florida, they buy assault rifles, and they say their house got burglarized for the guns. They scrape the numbers off them, and they go sell them down in New York and wherever. And now we have assault rifles. So that's
so. You know, let's say like an AR-15 costs about anywhere between $700 and let's say $2,000, depending on how it's modified and all that stuff.
Well, there's $700 in Florida.
Yeah. So my question to you is, how much more would they get for selling that gun? I mean, okay, you scrape the numbers off, you report stolen,
double.
And you sell. They get double.
Double. It depends what kind of assault rifle you get, like an AK-47 or something like that. Remember, they don't sell machine guns; they sell only semi-automatic. But you can make it up. You could file the pin. You can mess with it to make it, like you modify it. But like I know for a fact, I had bought mini assault rifles, and I paid like $1,200, $1,400. You know, stuff like that.
You had bought them back then. You had bought them illegally back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And what was your? I mean, what was your gun of choice, man? Back in the day when you were in the streets, what would you carry on you?
Every day I carried a .380. I like small, compact, carryable, because you don't want a heavy gun because then it slides, you know, you can't hold it. If I'm just keeping it in the seat under the car, I usually have like a .357 or like a 9mm Beretta. Right. But if I'm carrying, I got a small one, .380.